There's an old adage that states, if you are lucky enough to live by the sea, you are lucky enough. Well, for Dan Cheever and Susan Stasiowski, that is true and more. For down at the end of their property, just yards from the shore, their Nauset 36 sedan cruiser is moored. Dan is the president of Simmons College in Boston, while Sue works at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute in Woods Hole, Massachusetts. So along with their careers, sharing life with their children and grandchildren, they venture out on their boat only as often as their busy schedules will allow.
I've been on the water for 60 years. I grew up spending summers on Buzzards Bay and sailing mostly, and then as a young adult and then a middle-aged man had sailing cruising boats, then moved to a power boat about 3 years ago. We were anxious to get something that looked well and looked traditional and also obviously was safe and modern and had all the gear that you would want. And we heard about Nausets from some friends and went down and saw one of these in the water and fell in love with her. She looks like a lobster boat. And the lobster boats in Maine are named for wives, girlfriends, or daughters. So it's always the Ellie B or the Mary T. So this is the Susan S.
My husband named the dinghy, which is up on the wheelhouse roof, after me. My name is Susan, which in Polish is Suska. So that was a surprise. First time I saw that was the day we launched the boat. There's also a rooster that is down below on the wall, and that was a little surprise from Dan. We have this thing about chickens and roosters.
There's some touches that we like. Tiles, one set of tiles that look like shorebirds along the coast where the waves meet the sand. You have plovers and sandpipers. And then there's another set of tiles that are seabirds, terns diving for bluefish. So if you look around inside, it actually looks a bit as though you're inside a sailing vessel. There's a lot of wood, a lot of teak, there are brass lamps. That's what you'd find on a big sailing vessel. So we have the best of both worlds.
We were coming across the bay and we saw this blue and white image over to the port of the boat. We didn't really know what it was, and we looked through the binoculars and saw that it was a bunch of helium balloons. And when Dan and I have been on the boat before, we found trash and various other things, and we always try to stop and pick it up. And balloons like that in particular, marine life can try to eat them, and it's a real mess.
Yeah, how are you? You found us. Good. How are you? Come on aboard.
Dan and Sue, along with their friends, the Kings, are no exception as they navigate this carnival of delights.
It's a large.
Well, find it in your size.
That's sort of cute.
I think that's cool. Very cute.
You know what?
Definitely. It's you.
Tourists and day trippers walk side by side with natives from all walks of life. Fishermen and businessmen, magician and musician. They all come to Commercial Street.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. That sounds great.
For more than 60 years, Provincetown fishermen and their families have gathered on what is for them one of the most sacred days of the year, the annual blessing of the fleet. The festival begins with a solemn mass held at St. Peter's Church in the center of town, and is followed by a musical and colorful parade through the streets of Provincetown to Macmillan Pier, where the blessing will take place. Participants carry the statue of St. Peter, patron saint of the fishermen, and dressed in traditional garb as they fill the air with their native music.
Look at these bags of lobsters. Oh my God, that's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Eat fast. Doesn't that look fabulous? Yeah, hustle up.
You might want to like start with your clams and mussels, because your lobster, your chowder, and your potatoes will stay hotter the longest. It's just a little chilly out here.
Nothing could be more perfect after a day at sea, touring and shopping in town than a good old-fashioned New England clam bake on the beach.
Go for this, huh? Linguiça.
I'm trying this chowder. Have you tried it yet, Sue?
No, I haven't.
Oh boy, is that good. Isn't there supposed to be a green flash just the moment after the sun?
Following the spurts of heavy rain and dark gray skies, the clouds finally give way to a magnificent sunset on the sea. There's a definite magic to Provincetown, a magic that begins with the morning dew on bent seagrass, follows into the festivities of life on Commercial Street, closes with a glorious setting of the sun at sea, and encores with the magical and somewhat mystical music of the night.